Hi, everyone. Isaac Sacolick, the author of Digital Trailblazer. Again, thank you for picking up a copy of my book and for tuning into the author interview series. Now, this episode is about chapter 2, and we're going to be talking about spaghetti code and technical debt is now your problem, and shifting from being a contributor and maybe being a developer or a tester or in DevOps as an engineer. And now all of a sudden you're leading teams, you're leading transformation efforts, and whatever technical debt is slowing down your objectives is now really your problem to manage. This is a two-part series. In this first part, I'm going to be talking about things that really smell. We're going to talk about stinky cheese and getting into the weeds. So let's watch this episode, and the next one we'll talk about leadership and management issues. Enjoy. So I want to introduce Ginny Hamilton. Ginny is a former journalist. She's a CIO community manager, and for me, she was the editor of Digital Trailblazer. Welcome back, Ginny.
Thanks, Isaac. And as your editor, one of the things that I really loved about your book was your candor. And one area in particular where you were really open, really honest was in chapter 2, where you tell us about, quote, one colossal coding mess that you created. I'm not going to spoil it for those who haven't read it, but one result of the experience that you had as a developer is your ability to detect bad code. In fact, you write, "My senses awake to the smell of bad code." And so, Isaac, I'm wondering, what does bad code smell like?
Oh, you don't want to know that, Ginny. Bad code smells like rotten cheese, right?
Ugh.
Yeah, and the reason is like you open that refrigerator up and you get that faint smell of rotten cheese, and your first instinctive reaction is close the door. I don't want to have anything to do with this, and you leave it for your housemate or your roommate to deal with it. But of course, they don't do anything with it, and so that cheese just gets worse and worse. Now the whole house smells bad. You don't know where it's coming from. You don't know all the areas that you have to fix to address it. And so, yeah, it smells like rotten cheese. It starts off small and it just gets worse and harder to fix later on.
Oh, that's a bad smell and a great analogy. I love it. Okay, so you're obviously good at detecting bad code. In chapter 1, you start with fixing defects, and then in chapter 2, you take us into the weeds with stories on technical debt and burning fires. And I wonder what's important for readers to take away from these stories.
I think first thing is to realize that every company and every organization has these issues. I mean, as soon as you put any application into production, you start having to enhance it and support it. So every company has technical debt to deal with. Every company also has operational issues. I don't care if it's the best DevOps practicing organization, you're still going to have things outside of your control that are going to cause issues and poor performance that you need to respond to. So there isn't this utopian world where you don't have tech debt and you don't have issues out there. That means if you're a digital trailblazing leader, you need to figure out which of these issues your team should be focusing on, which are the ones creating the most business impact. And that's not easy to do, right? You have your team that's working in that refrigerator and seeing all the bad code. Some of it is just code that went out there because it had to get it to market really quickly. They didn't have enough time to work on it. It's being used beyond the original expectations. It was originally a pilot, a POC, and now it's being used for large scale applications, right? Lots of different reasons why technical debt emerges, but I can't go and fix everything. So that digital trailblazer on one side has to be able to have that conversation with the business, with the technology group, and saying, of the areas, here's the ones that I really need to invest in. And then I need to also have that conversation with the development team, right? There are lots of different ways to fix things. Sometimes I can reduce the impact of technical debt with a small fix. Sometimes the group's going to come back to me and say, Isaac, we need to rewrite this application. It needs to be cloud native, move to the cloud. It's going to take 18 months to do this. And you know what? Sometimes that's the right answer, but I better understand that a lot better if I'm going to go talk and sell that to my business stakeholders, that the right thing to do here is to rewrite the application. And Ginny, you know this, I've made that case before where really important applications have to get rewritten. I tell one of those stories in the book. And that's the nature of technical debt. We all have it. We have to prioritize it. We have to find the right solutions around it. We need to continue to invest in it. And the Digital Trailblazer's role is to balance that conversation about what to really focus on.
So what I'm hearing is that we all have stinky cheese in our fridge, and it's really just about how you deal with it. And before you go out and buy a new refrigerator, which you might have to do, make sure that you talk to everybody and make sure everybody's involved in helping to clean up the mess. And with that, Isaac, I will toss back to you.
Smelling that stinky cheese and then getting into the weeds to resolve technical debt issues. Thank you for joining Chapter 2's episode of the Author Series. And remember, there's a second episode coming up around management and leadership issues around technical debt. So I hope you will join and watch it. Have a great day.